What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the post-game show here at Edmonton Sport Talk. Dusty with you. Tommy Gazzola had Bozone live tonight. He's got one more of those, so I will have the post-game against the Jets as well. But what a game tonight between the Edmonton Oilers and the Vegas Golden Knights. The Oil and the referees letting it slip away late. Vegas gets a point. Doesn't matter to the Oilers right now. They don't care if Vegas gets a point right now. They end up getting two in the shootout. McDavid and Nuge get the job done for them. You can hit us up anytime, 780-218-9999. You can't miss the number. If you're watching on YouTube, it is right below. If you are listening on TuneIn on the way home from the game tonight, feel free to text in. Myself and YouTube Trav will guide you through a good chunk of this post-game show. Then we will have Matt Kassian join us a little bit later on. We'll get to some post-game reaction as well. Nasty Chat it's an interesting place tonight. I like it. There's people bitching about McLeod, but at the same time, everybody's happy that they ended up getting the dub. So we've got lots to get to as well. Yeah, it's interesting. Like Randy, let's just set the tone right here. Randy into the inbox at 780-218-9999. Shake my head when, of course, the Oilers announcer said they found a way after giving up a 2-goal lead. But, of course, results-based doesn't matter because they won. However, that's disappointing to see them drop that lead like that. They got lucky to get 2 points, even if it's not the popular opinion. Tell me I'm wrong. That's in from Randy today. Randy, as you said, it's not the popular opinion. You told me to tell you you're wrong. I'm telling you you're wrong. The Edmonton Oilers deserved to, and I'm one of the first guys in the city to call them out on things but they deserve this 2 points tonight. Yeah, they let it slip away late. Bottom six on the ice for a couple of goals against. I will say putting out Connor Brown and Ryan McLeod in overtime is quite the scene. I was a little surprised by that. But I get it. I can see why you're fired up. But I thought the officiating was bogus, especially in the third period. Not that the not calling that penalty on McDavid getting stick held and then a goal going back there. There's a lot of things that happened between that. So, the garbage officiating didn't technically lead to Vegas getting back into that game, but did it lead to the Oilers not being able to put it away because they didn't get a couple opportunities on the power play maybe they should have got. So I know there's going to be some people who are fired up in the Nasty Chat tonight due to the officiating. Hey, tell your friends about Edmonton Sports Talk. We hit 6,000 subs today. We're just getting started. We're 2.5 months into this thing. We're going to do it forever. So let's keep rolling with that. Tell your friends to sub. Tell them to hop on TuneIn, get the free TuneIn app. And, of course, they can text us anytime, 780-218-9999. You can just go to edmontonsportstalk.com and click listen live there as well. Or, of course, you can join us here on YouTube tonight. Evil Twin says, managing, Dusty, not reffing. Don't insult refs. Tango says, Oilers 3 power plays to Vegas 5 power plays. That's the thing. And I didn't think the penalty calls against the Oilers were weak. I mean, the Oilers pretty much deserved the penalties that they did end up getting. Probably should have got that too many men there as well that ended up getting called on an offside. But I just think not calling a couple penalties along the way that would have put the Oilers in a spot to really seal that game away. I thought it was Bush. But in the end, they do get the 2 points. They get away with it. They've won 3 in a row. And tonight, I thought the third period was their best period. I mean, they had allowed 1 shot in the first 12 minutes. And then you get those 2 goals, those 2 breakdowns. But I thought overall, I think you have to be pretty happy with this effort from the Edmonton Oilers. I understand that, there's an opportunity to nitpick here because once again, like they did on the road trip out east, they did blow a 2-goal lead, but they recovered. They got the job done in the shootout. And Vegas did everything they could in overtime to keep the puck away from McDavid and Draisaitl. I would have attempted to do the exact same thing. Connor McDavid scores in the shootout, and then Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. I just don't understand how NHL goalies still allow Ryan Nugent-Hopkins to beat them low on blocker/glove side. I mean, you had to have known he was going there. Take it away. But the Nuge just finds a way, man. Edmonton Oilers win 5-4. YouTube Trev back in the Edmonton Sports Talk offices. He will have Kassian. He'll get some postgame for us as well. Trev, if you are there right now, I wouldn't mind your thoughts on this hockey game, buddy, tonight. A big one for the Oil to get these 2 points.
Yeah, how's it going, Nasty Chat? What an exciting game that was. Like kind of like you said, the last period, it was. I don't know. They kind of just fell apart there, and it was kind of worrisome. I said that it was going to go to overtime, and I was kind of right, so I'm happy about that. But a pretty complete effort throughout the whole game. I liked Ernie a lot tonight. I see a lot of McLeod comments in the chat. He needs to go. The only problem with that is I don't know who you're going to replace McLeod with. So, but as far as the game, McDavid looked good. I thought Draisaitl was okay. He wasn't a game breaker, but he didn't do anything to really hinder his game tonight. As far as I thought there was going to be a lot more fireworks, I'm very surprised by that, but at the same time, I'm happy because I feel like if they were to, play off their emotions, they wouldn't have come out with the W for this game. All around, I'm pretty happy with the game. It was very nerve-wracking. I didn't think, just watching overtime, and there was a lot of talk if there should be a shot clock included. I never really, so like I
but
get it.
But that's the reason, right? The overtime we saw tonight is the reason they talk about this.
That is the reason, and it's kind of annoying, but I mean it's in the name of the game, right? You said it. You do the exact same thing when McDavid and Draisaitl are out there. You want to keep possession. You don't want to take any chances, and because you can see what happens when they do so. So. All around, I'm thankful that they got the points tonight. And it does suck that Vegas was able to get too late and ultimately get 1 point in their own right. But no complaints here. The huge win. Matthias Janmark, me and Maddie were joking about it if he was going to score tonight and against his why he was put on the first line. And that's exactly why they put him on the first line. He was able to chip in with an absolute greasy goal. But you go to the net and good things will happen. So that's exactly what he did. It was nice to see Gagne. He hadn't played in the last 3 games. Comes out and gets first goal. So there's some depth scoring, which is going to go a long way with this team. And just you look at the time on ice for a lot of the players. It was very balanced. It was McDavid's line, then Draisaitl, then you have McLeod out there, and then the fourth line. So it's nice to see the consistencies going, and it's going to pay dividends for them in the long run. So. All around, I'm pretty pumped, and so is the Nasty Chat. So let's go. This is great.
There's a big one tonight. Obviously, we'll have a bunch of goal songs on the Nielson show tomorrow. Should be a lot of fun in the morning. Looking forward to that bad boy. I mean, how many of you actually are concerned about them letting a 2-goal lead slip away? It's not like they let a 2-goal lead slip away because Vegas all of a sudden took over the third period and dominated and outshot them 16-4, and they let it slip away. I thought it was very unfortunate that it slipped away. Some weak board play, and the pucks end up in the back of your net. I mean, Vegas took advantage of the very few opportunities that they had. So I don't know. I thought the Oilers played a very good third period. A couple of pucks ended up in the back of the net. The inbox is just getting absolutely pounded. Love pounding the box, so keep that coming in. We could sit here for 5 hours tonight and read nasty chats as well. Big Dave is in and says that was a solid game. Not a lot of complaints out of this one, other than some bad no calls at the end. The rest of this team seems to be clicking, but I think the McLeod experiment needs to end. Kid can't finish and hasn't for almost 40 games, and the way he just drifts past Golisar and let him tie the game was not a great look. The team is looking solid and starting to look like the contender they are meant to be, but a third-line center upgrade is due. That one in from Big Dave. MB in the nasty chat says, complaining about McLeod is like complaining about the government. Nothing will ever change. I am not going to turn a 5-4 shootout victory for the Oilers tonight into an hour and a bit more of a McLeod bashing session. I will just say there's like the one play with McLeod that just, I mean, there was a few of them, obviously, on the Golisar goal. I tweeted it right after. Ridiculous tip. Like, that was not floated towards the net. That was coming in with some pretty good zip. And now he shouldn't be wide open in that spot, which is obviously what has people fired up. But that was it was a nice play. Give Vegas credit for making a nice play on that play. But the one thing with McLeod, there was the one play, I think it was in the third period, you guys, where, he had a chance to sort of dig at the puck in the net. And you can just tell McLeod's overall mindset is when he's digging at the net, it's like this, and it's almost like he's leaning back as opposed to like get your body behind it as opposed to like trying to poke at it. That's just how he naturally plays the game. I was stunned that he and Brown got out there in overtime. Can you imagine Brown or McLeod winning the game in overtime? That would have been quite the scene. Place would have gone absolutely nuts. If you are watching, though, I would legitimately ask you, like, for example, who's the other guy that said McLeod would never score a goal like the one that Janmark would have scored tonight? And I agree with you. Zedmo says it was heart-sinking watching them tie it late. I understand that, but like, so you watched that game tonight. Did you not like the Oilers game tonight? I thought through the first 40 minutes, there was a couple of notes that I did make note. I thought their third period was excellent. I actually had in my notes, best thing about this game was their third period up until the final, 6 minutes of it or whatever. I thought the third period, they were putting on a clinic in limiting chances, not taking risks and opening themselves up here. And then it did slip away. But to me, that doesn't take away from the fact that I thought the Edmonton Oilers were the better team tonight and ended up winning a hockey game in which they were the better team. Now, through the first 40 minutes, I did think that it was two evenly matched teams. Like, I thought it was a evenly matched game. The Oilers were able to take advantage of, some fortunate situations. McDavid behind the play, the puck comes all around the boards. He's back in on a breakaway and buries it and some things like that. But I do think the best team won that hockey game tonight. I guess I do understand the concern about letting another 2-goal lead slip away, even though they secured it in the end. But it just, to me, it wasn't a 2-goal lead that they let slipped away because they just allowed the game completely get away from them. I felt like they still kind of had control of the game, and Vegas just took advantage of a couple opportunities to tie things up. So I guess my question would be, are you actually concerned tonight about the Oilers letting a 2-goal lead late slip away? And I'm just going to tweet that out as well and get some reaction to it, letting a 2-goal lead slip away. We'll see what people have to say about that over on Twitter as well. But hit us up in the nasty chat. K-Gill says, I thought the Oilers played solid. And am I the only one who thought Skinner was good today? Other than the third goal, I thought he was pretty solid. I thought Skinner in the first period. Now, he didn't have to make a bunch of Gumby saves. Like he didn't have to stand on his head tonight. But I thought in the first period, I thought he was pretty good. Gag says, hey, Dusty, any thoughts on Skinner's game? A few there that he'd like back. No, didn't like the third goal for sure. Didn't like the third goal. I would agree with you on that one. Now, it did come through a teammate of his, and it's in those tough spots, kind of like, about this high off the ice and just inside the post. But I thought Skinner was fine tonight. I think I saw somebody text in earlier, and the texts are flying in here like crazy. So I'll try to sort through a bunch of them. But I think I saw somebody say, if it wasn't for the refereeing and the Oilers goaltending, here it is. Let me see. This comes in from Randy. I kind of followed it up and said, if it wasn't for the goaltending or reffing, the Oilers would never lose a game. A tale as old as time. Okay, I see what he's got there. Nolan texts in and says, I love you guys. Thanks, Nolan. We love you too, man. He also points out that YouTube Trev called the Matthias Janmark goal. Trev, did you straight up outright call the Matthias Janmark goal? Because Gager today on Two Guys and the Goalie ended up calling the Oilers to win 5-4 in overtime. So he came that close because it ended up being 5-4 in a shootout. But Trev, are you there?
Yeah. Me and Maddie, we were
Matthias Janmark. My goodness,
we were joking around about it, but then I forgot that he played for the Vegas Golden Knights, and Maddie asked me, he was like, "Why do you think they brought him up?" I'm like, "Well, maybe that's why he played for them before. I don't know. Maybe he knows some secrets." But all of a sudden, I just I don't know. Sometimes you just have this gut feeling, and I was just like, you know what, Matthias is scoring tonight, and I was happy. I was right, and me and Maddie were both right. So
a proud parent in Tommy Gazzola. If he's watching tonight, he's given that slow nod of Matthias Janmark getting a puck to go into the back of the net off of him. So that worked out. That worked out pretty well. Pinto Crick is in and says McLeod was at fault on goal number 4, couldn't clear and was lost in front. He is pretty unimpressive. I didn't think Draisaitl was going tonight. I mean, there's a lot of good things in this game. I thought almost everybody was going. I didn't think Draisaitl had his legs going a lot in this game. That's why I kind of predicted him on Twitter to score the overtime winner. I thought it was kind of one of those moments where, gets some jump, has a little bit of gas left in the tank and gets it done. But it was just tough for those guys to get the puck outside of McDavid feeding Bouchard. That puck bounced on him right at the end of overtime. Would have been a hell of a way to finish that game heading up the ice with what was 7 minutes or 7 seconds left. That would have been quite the way to finish it. I didn't think Draisaitl had a ton of jump in his game tonight. I know people are kind of fired up with McLeod. Even in overtime, Bouchard's sense of urgency sucks. Like when they had that 3-on-1 and Draisaitl and McDavid are just busting ass up the ice, or a 3-on-2, I guess it would have been. McLeod's just too lackadaisical with the puck there, or Bouchard rather, too lackadaisical with the puck in overtime. But look, there's a lot of good things to take away from this hockey game tonight. This is actually a great game for a post-game show, simply because there's a lot of reasons for people to be frustrated. But in the end, you should be extremely excited. The team has won 3 in a row now. And yeah, Vegas looked like Craig Button on our show earlier this morning said that, he thinks Vegas looks a little fatigued right now. And I did see somebody in the nasty chat basically say that he thought the first couple of periods looked like sort of 2 teams that were playing on the second half of back-to-backs. This one's in. It says, it's not just the 2-goal lead they gave up today. They gave up 3 leads tonight and must be on pace to break an NHL record for most blown leads in a season. It's definitely something to be concerned about. That comes from Darren in YYC. Says he absolutely loves the show. So thank you very much for that. Let's take you through the scoring summary and some of the numbers from this game. We will have some post game here as well. Oh, Cass is already ready too. I didn't even see that. I was bumped. Let me whip through the scoring summary. Then we're bringing Kassian. He looks sharp right now. Sam Gagner put pucks on net. Good things happen. Sam Gagner's third of the year. Hamblin picks up the assist, and it's 1-0 after the first period. And then kind of all hell broke loose in the second. Mark Stone, nice little deflection, bounces off Ekholm, ends up in the back of the net. Game tied at 1. Matthias Janmark with a repeat effort at the other end. The Oilers go up 2-1. Ekholm and McDavid with the assists on that one. First of 3 points in the period for Connor McDavid, who now has 12 points in his last 3 games, back into the top 10 in NHL scoring, I do believe. Amadio and just a horrible breakdown off the face-off. We'll get into that with Cass for sure. McDavid on that breakaway in a 4-on-4 situation. Nice patience, tucks it home. Evander Kane on the power play, smack dab in front of the net, bangs it home. And then in the third period, with 6.5 minutes to go, Ben Hutton from Cotter and Amadio, and then Colasar, his first of the season, out of the air into the back of the net from White Cloud and Waugh. And that tied it at 4. And then in the shootout, Connor McDavid and Ryan Nugent-Hopkins score. Jonathan Marchessault and Jack Eichel do not. 3 stars of the game, Connor McDavid, Evander Kane, and Amadio. And we'll get to the Damon Bunting player of the game a little bit later on here with YouTube. Trev, Stuart Skinner tonight, an .852 save percentage, stopped 23 of 27 in between the pipes. Special teams, and this is it. I mean, you look at the Oilers win 3 in a row. Their penalty kill has killed off 18 in a row or whatever it is now, and their power play 7 for the last 17. So special teams have won them the last 3 games, and Connor McDavid having 12 points in the last 3 games has helped them win these hockey games. But they put together 3 in a row, 5-4 in a shootout tonight over the Golden Knights. Let's bring in our analyst, Matt Kassian. Cass, looking good, my man. Much better than me in the old Cool Bet hoodie lounging around the basement. How was the atmosphere of the game tonight, man?
It was good. It was good. Without Tommy Gazzola here, I was like, well, someone has to dress up and look professional. So I figured tonight it would be me. So here we are. Yeah, it was good. It was good. I thought the atmosphere from just a game standpoint and in the crowd was thought it was solid night. A lot of boos for Alex Pietrangelo, which is always fun to see. I mean, it's good. I love that they don't like people and they boo them like that. It's fun for me, anyways. I think it's fun. Some people might think it's offensive, but whatever. It's good. But overall, yeah. I mean, good, solid atmosphere today. Don't like that they give up a whole bunch of leads.
Yeah,
still found a way to win. Which is important. Now, would have been nice to have it in regulation. On your heels a little bit, I think in the third, when towards the end of the game, when Vegas really started to press, where there was a little bit more, I don't want to say squeezing the sticks tight, but a little bit more panic in the game, like kind of throwing pucks away a little bit there, which wasn't great. Not that this team has been winning in the third period very often.
Yeah.
So it's almost like it's a new situation to them to be in a tighter checking game. or where they need to check tighter late in the game. But Dusty, overall, they get the job done. You get the job done. You get the 2 points. It was against the best team in the Pacific Division. Don't care if they're sliding. I don't care if they played yesterday.
You don't care if they're tired or fatigued. This was 2 points against
care.
Vegas.
The 2 points against Vegas. 2 points against Vegas. And if you're, upset that they gave Vegas 1 point, I mean, whatever.
Doesn't matter right now.
Yeah. You're not catching them. So you got 2 points, and that's what you needed.
Okay, so it is interesting because they were up 4-2 and they were playing just a really good period. They hadn't given Vegas anything, and I know a lot of people were fired up. The inbox is just getting crushed. There's a couple of really funny texts in there, and there's a lot of really good takes as well. But Cass, it's not like Vegas all of a sudden took over the game and stormed back and tied it by dominating the final 6 minutes, and they took advantage of a couple of opportunities that we view as. Do we view those as like hard work by Vegas to turn pucks over in the offensive zone, or do we view them as the Oilers blowing it a bit?
A little bit of both. A little bit of both. I know there's a lot of people jumping on McLeod right now, but it wasn't like he threw a pizza in the middle of the ice on that play for the fourth goal. Like, it wasn't. Was it a good play? No. Was it a mistake? Yes. Did it cost them? Well, yeah, it did. But it wasn't like. It wasn't like a soft turnover to the middle of the ice. Now it ends up in the back of your net. Kolesar, we have to even credit on that play. Like, that puck's going wide, and he bats it out of the air, tips it out of the air, completely changes direction and puts it in. Vegas is gonna push. So as I said, I thought they did get a little bit scrambly and on their heels when Vegas made the big push. So things to improve upon are being able to push back, or the bend and not break mentality. But yeah, I mean, Dusty, I'm just happy they won 3 games in a row.
Yeah, exactly. They got to do this more times now.
They got to do this more times, and you do it against a good team. So I kind of feel like we may, just based on the season, be a little bit nitpicky.
Yeah.
If we're going to be like, oh, but they gave up a lead. It's like, well, yeah, they did. They found a way to win, though.
Yeah, if they came into this game 3 games above 500 and win the game the way it was, it would be a little bit of a different vibe as opposed to everybody piling on McLeod tonight and bitching about Skinner still. And what do you think of Skinner overall tonight? Like, I thought he was relatively steady. I mean, the third goal comes through a partial screen of one of his own guys.
I don't think you could see it.
I didn't think you could see it. I think it was a well-placed shot.
Yep.
Really.
Just above the pad. I mean,
Ryan Nugent-Hopkins has made a career of shooting the puck in those areas. You know what I mean?
Well, it's like the Gagne shot that when he scored, where it's kind of through traffic, placed just above the pad, which is a tough save to make. It's a tough save to make. I mean, the Kolesar one, that what is he supposed to do? What he's supposed to do there? Well,
yeah.
And I thought he made a couple other really good saves in the night too. So was it his best performance? No, but I thought he was solid. Like, he made enough saves to give you a chance to win. And really, even if we look at that third period, and we didn't talk about this yet, is the Edmonton Oilers had chances to go up by 3
to really seal it away. Yeah,
to really seal it away, and the puck didn't go in. You get the post on the one. You had a couple other chances in tie 2. The power play towards the end of the game, I thought, looked really dangerous. Wasn't able to score, but they had some opportunity there too. So again, like, let's not nitpick here. Really happy they won that one.
Vincent Vandervan says, when I see McLeod's playing style, all I can think is, how did he lose those teeth? This is actually a pretty funny text. That's a pretty funny text. Look,
can I make it just a note on that? So I was watching with one of my buddies. I was able to fortunately take him into the press box tonight, which was fun. Did get to take a friend up there to watch, which was great. And he was talking about how he generally likes Ryan McLeod, and I'm like, oh. Like, I was like, oh yeah, you know what? He moves really fast, and I said he's kind of doesn't really go to the hard spots on the ice. And was like didn't know if he really believed me. And then I think it was about halfway through the game, he turned to me and be like, "Yeah, he doesn't really go to those spots on the ice, does he?" And I was like, "Nope, he doesn't."
You kind of learn, I guess, somewhere along the way. Yeah. Okay, so but here's where it's at. The Oilers came away with a very important win tonight. We're sitting in here, and there's a debate in the nasty chat right now on whether or not McLeod would clear waivers. Okay, like that's the type of mood people have tonight. Now, first of all, they would never waive him because they don't have anybody else. I mean, what else are you supposed to do in this
to play center?
But I mean, I'm kind of intrigued by it. People want to know, Cass, like, do you think he would clear waivers
with his current?
He skates extremely well. Like,
yeah, I kind of feel like he wouldn't. Like, if we look at, I'm trying to think, because there was a guy the other day that got picked up. Who was it? I can't remember off the top of my head.
I think a team with any sort of cap space would claim him.
Would probably
and just be like,
him.
He is a legitimate NHLer.
No, he is a legitimate NHLer.
Yeah, like
he is a legitimate NHLer.
He hasn't scored in half the season, but I mean, I don't know. I just find it. Yeah, I guess I'm new to the post game because is this like they won, they beat Vegas, and it's just McLeod bashing segment here. Eric,
it's pretty heavy in the nasty chat.
Yeah, it is. Like, people are like very angry with Marty Milner says, I'm tired of McLeod's play. Move him out. Eric Stewart in the nasty chat says, exhausted Vegas on back-to-back, going through a scoring slump, scores 4 goals and drag a fresh Oilers team to a shootout. Nothing to celebrate. 0.
2 points to celebrate. I disagree.
Yeah,
2 points to
for
celebrate.
a team that desperately needs 2 points right now. So
yeah, there's a lot of Rob Shrimp talk right now about bringing him back up. Call up Robbie Shrimp. They see a lot of that in the nasty chat.
TV Burkle says, Dusty, the dummies come out at night. I'm not saying people are dummies. I mean, everybody's got their opinions. A lot of people aren't happy with Ryan McLeod. I said it. If you could pull a trigger on a trade, I would trade Ryan McLeod and a draft pick to get a hard-nosed veteran third-line center for this team. I mean, I still think that's a deal that could get done because I think somebody would take Ryan McLeod. You know,
the money still would have to work, and that would be the tricky part. That'd be the tricky part. Yeah, I mean, listen. Jesse Puljujarvi isn't here anymore. Kyler Yamamoto isn't here anymore. So we got to, run somebody out of town. Or the fans have to try to. And
Ryan from SK says,
yeah.
Ryan from SK in the inbox says, tell that guy to go to bed. Holy shit. So it's a fun conversation that I could go all night with this. Hey, Cass, all Skinner had to be was league average. He was at an .850 save percentage. The Oilers locked it down in the third. Skinner needs to find a way to do so also. That's in from Al. But so Al, are you blaming Skinner on the Kolasar goal? Like, how many times do we talk about backdoor tap-ins? There's a guy wide open. Skinner's trying to see through a screen, and when the puck comes across, he's like, oh, yeah, okay, this guy's here. And he made a nice play. I mean, batted out of the bloody air.
It was a comment I made when it went in. I'm like, oh, they're going to blame Skinner for that one. Like, yeah, I mean, Skinner was solid tonight. And you know what Skinner got tonight, Dusty? You know what Skinner got tonight?
Support.
He got another one. Another one in the win column.
Yeah.
Another one in the win column. And guess who had to stand tall in the shootout?
Well, they missed the net and hit the post.
Well, yes.
Yeah.
But as most goalies would say, and if
if you hit the post, Gager's probably
worst commissioner in the world,
the
the horrible commissioner, great goalie, would probably say that, yeah, he took away everything but the post, right? And he forced him to shoot wide because he didn't give him anything to shoot at. That's what most goalies would say, and in some instances, they took away enough that a guy tried to pick a corner because you didn't give him much. He didn't just flat out burn you with a move or with a shot, so he missed the net. Counts as a save in a shootout. You get the 2 points.
Norman at Combine says, it's a full moon, Dusty. Expect the worst tonight. Maybe that's what it is. And Havana Ben, who has texted in and says he is a goalie. He goes, as a goalie, I can tell you the hardest screen is a guy moving from side to side in the middle between you and the shooter. If the player is closer to the shooter, they're smaller because they're further away and you can see through his feet. If the player is closer to you, it's easier to look around them. If they're halfway like Ernie was in that goal against, Skinner can't see the release and he can't see the shot. So he's breaking down, kind of caught in no man's land where it's not far enough out that you can pick up the puck, and you obviously can't look around Ernie in that spot. So
just a note,
go ahead
on Ernie in that, because you brought him up.
Yeah,
I don't know why. So part of that play, part of the start of that play, and the chaos that was in their own zone started because he lost his stick, and it was like down by the faceoff dot in their own zone, and the puck was still in the neutral zone, and he should have just went for a change or grabbed a stick from the bench, and he decided to hoof it back to his own zone. And then when he does that, it created, I think, a little bit of positional chaos because no one knew where anyone was.
Yeah,
I didn't like that part of the play. And yeah, those side to side screens. I mean, you talk about it on power plays, and even as players, as forwards, about trying to cross across a goalie's field of vision is when something's moving across and you take the eyes away for a split second. I mean, that can be enough to throw somebody off, which is again well placed shot on that goal. Did you guys talk about the face-off goal yet?
No, I wanted to get to that. When we went through the scoring summary, I said we'll save it and get to Cass on that, because I mean, you would be able to explain that much better than me, because I'm sitting there going, okay, what the hell happened? So what happened?
Yeah. I mean, I had to, like, I went to the video and I had to pick it apart because just watching the replay, I'm like, how did this happen? How did this happen? I still don't know, and it's the centerman's job. Like, he's going to tell people where he wants them. Centerman's the one that calls the face-off play. And for whatever reason, Ekholm was basically standing in the corner.
Yeah.
Which normally you're lined up to take that net front guy. Like the wingers push through.
So the wingers can go up.
Up. Now, what happened if you break that play down is Vegas's wingers swapped. So they swapped to their off wing. So what looked like it happened was Edmonton recognized that or said, well, we think that Vegas is going to run a crossing play. So their play, if they win the draw, is they're going to have the winger on the wall step across, who's a lefty now on the right-handed wall, is going to step across and try to pick up the puck for a quick shot, or to step around and roll around the top. And that net front winger, the right-handed player for Vegas, is going to go try to pick or slide back across, so you basically have two players crossing behind the centerman. And so what they did was Edmonton swapped. So if you look, you have your right-handed defenseman playing the left side on the wall with that right-handed forward, with the mindset of he's probably going to stay with them across. And then with both the centermen, they both were on their backhand. So the likelihood of the puck going to the left, both guys are trying to pull it back, is pretty low. That's what Edmonton saw. So Ekholm gets sent, more into the corner than he typically would. If you do that, though, the wingers have to know that in particular, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins on that play has to hold, even if it's for a split second, because the guy at the point is not the dangerous guy. The guys coming through the middle are the dangerous guy. He doesn't do that. And you have two wingers who are doing their normal job by stepping through, but Ekholm's, 3 steps too far away. And it's a weird, it was a kind of a weird face off that way, but ultimately it was because of how
straight from the setup
was your issue. Because if Ekholm is where he normally would be in that situation, you're fine. Again, Edmonton thinks that left winger playing on the right side for Vegas is going to roll around the top. And so their thought is, well, we can't have, our defenseman just step into the corner and let this guy go, because no one's going to be able to get to him. That's kind of the thought. Did I like the positioning on that? No. Should they have held normal positioning? I think so. But ultimately that's what happened. So it's straight from your face-off setup that it ends up burning you on it. And again, I mean, it was because you probably watch video on what Vegas tries to do with some of their face-offs, and you made the decision to put Ekholm there. Didn't work out, but you still got the 2 points, so that's okay.
Gager's in there. He's in the nasty chat. I asked him what he thought of Skinner tonight, but he's saying Bukestad makes the same as McLeod with the same team. Make it happen, Kenny. So there you go. A pick and McLeod for Bukestad. That's the type of deal that I could see them trying to get done somewhere along the way. I mean, that would make them a better team, in my opinion. Now interesting here, and I think this is a valid point as well, Neil. And if you're watching right now, the reason we crush this stuff live is to have the interaction with you. You could text us 780-218-9999 for those people asking if I'm taking over the post-game show now. I am not. Tommy Gazzola had Bozone Live TV commitment tonight and for the next game, and then he'll be back for the rest of the season. But Neil says, if McLeod's line is held back and a different line is put on at that point, no one is bashing him tonight. So that's on the coaching staff, in my opinion. Kaz, where do you come out on? I mean, the 2 goals were the bottom 6 lines in the third period. But I also am a guy who's always saying you've got to put these guys in these spots so they can get used to these spots. You can eventually run 4 lines. So I'm going to have a hard time bitching about Knobloch, putting these guys, giving them some responsibility. I know it backfired tonight, but they still got the 2 points. So you got away with it. And maybe they know better next time, right? Like,
yep.
And again, it wasn't just play your top 6 for the final 5 minutes of a hockey game.
No, and again, people are jumping on McLeod for that error. It wasn't like it was horribly egregious, like he was going up the wall with it. And Kolazar makes a fantastic play to knock that puck into the air and redirect it. Like, unbelievable play to do that. I mean, you could do that in practice with 20 pucks and not do that, really. Like, it was pretty spectacular of him to be able to do that. So let's not forget that. And I agree with you. You need to have them in the situations because, if we're looking at the playoffs and we're thinking about the playoffs, which I don't know if we're at that point yet with this group, but we're getting there slowly. We're getting there. You want them to be able to play in big moments and to be comfortable in those situations. So, yeah, the bottom 6 gets lit up for 2. That lets the other team back into it, but a learning lesson.
Yeah, and you got the 2 points. Like Kimmett says in the nasty chat, it says the third line should be available to the coaching staff at all times, right? You should have faith in your third line. And the third line, their third line is very frustrating, I think, because they work their asses off, McLeod and Fogle and Derek Ryan, but they just don't have anything to show for it. Like, you feel like at some point, the problem is you've got McLeod who hasn't scored in half a bloody season, and Fogle who gets tons of opportunities but has no finish, right? That's a tough spot to be in, I guess. But you would like to have a third line that you can throw out there. Matthias Janmark got the bump up with Hyman coming out of the lineup late. I thought, and I know Tommy has this, like, he really likes Matthias Janmark, and I've always kind of cooled the conversation on Janmark, but I thought he was really important tonight, Kaz. I mean, he scores that goal. He made that great play on that one penalty kill. Marchessault is going to bury that if he doesn't get a stick in there. I liked his game a lot. Did you?
Yep. I was gonna say I don't know if we're doing an unsung hero award for the night. But if there's an unsung hero award for the night, my vote is for Matthias Janmark. I thought he was excellent on the penalty kill tonight. Excellent on the penalty kill. Gets the goal, which is nice, getting to the front of the net. And I thought played a really, really, really solid game from him today. So in penalty kill especially, and penalty killers as a whole. I mean, you want to talk about reasons the Oilers did end up with 2 points. Their penalty kill was solid. Their penalty kill was.
I mean, if their penalty kill doesn't come through, they give up 5 or 6 tonight, right? Yep. Like, the penalty kill has stopped. The penalty kill is 18 for its last 18 now. So
and Skinner had a couple saves that were good saves on the penalty kill. And then you had some big moments like the Janmark one where they executed and did what they needed to do. So Janmark had a really, really strong game. Great effort from him tonight.
You can text us anytime, 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999. And also you can hit us up in the nasty chat as well. Let's see here. Let's get to this one. How many games in the playoffs are won with special teams? Also, please ask Cass about Nuge's choice to make a low percentage play with his behind the back pass on the power play. Right? Nuge has been doing those behind the back passes.
He does those all the time. Right? Like, and you had the one he fanned on that didn't work, but he had one about 20 seconds earlier that did. And it's one of the things that actually opens up the power play and makes it so dangerous, is because when players push to Ryan Nugent-Hopkins to respect the shot, he doesn't have a passing lane generally because of the angle of pressure from the defending penalty back. Is looks like I have connection problems. Hopefully you can still hear me, but being able to send
you kind of froze quickly, but you're okay now. Lots of love for Darnell Nurse again tonight.
I'm okay. Yeah. Basically, he does it all the time.
Darnell Nurse, there's a lot of people saying that Paul Coffey is the reason that Darnell Nurse has got his game going. I do like Jackson, who says Coffee already paying off, as evidenced by the CC primary assist on the McDavid breakaway goal, which was kind of funny that CC ended up getting assist on that one.
A deflection,
yeah, but I mean, Darnell Nurse, this is 3 games in a row, man, where Darnell Nurse, what is it about this cast? We talked about it on Two Guys and Goalie a little bit today as well, but did you see more of the same from Darnell Nurse tonight?
Yeah, it's like he's not trying to play like a $9.5 million defenseman. He's playing like Darnell Nurse.
Yeah.
Like he's not trying to do too much. And that's allowing him to do more. Like he's playing a simpler hockey game, taking what's there. I think he's seems like he's jumping into the rush a little bit less, like trying to take on less of that we need to go score a goal mentality and more being a little bit more responsible, and picking his spots with that. I've liked his physicality. I thought that was a little bit of a soft call on that penalty on him.
Yeah.
I mean, was it interference? Maybe if the guy doesn't fall down, it's not getting called. But I've liked the edginess he's had to his game and this simplicity. Like I haven't seen the last 3 games a play where I'm just like, I really don't know what he was doing. Like he's simplified and playing now, whether that's coaching, maybe is it coffee, maybe. Regardless of the reason, he's playing his best hockey this season by far and away right now.
People are asking, they've been asking actually since before you even joined us. What did you think of the officiating tonight? I know the crowd there was not happy with a few missed calls in the third period. McDavid's stick being held behind the net. Some people said they decided to only call trips in general against one team tonight. Like I said earlier, I thought the officiating may have missed on some opportunities to give the Oilers some power plays to seal this game away, but I don't think the officiating allowed Vegas to get back in it. So where did you come out on the officiating tonight?
Yeah, they missed some calls in the third.
Yeah.
It's payback for the one Draisaitl slash in the faceoff. So
yeah,
like it's going to happen sometimes. Did I think the McDavid behind the net should have been a penalty? Yes. Was there another trip? Yes. Should they have been called? Yes. But the referees weren't the reason Vegas got back in the game. You made some mistakes in your own end and the puck went in the back of your net, but it wasn't because of officiating. So, you have to deal with refs both making calls and not making calls. And at different times in the game, because those penalties, they probably would have been called. If that was the first period, those would have been called. But it was third period late. They didn't want to have an effect on the outcome of the game. And so they didn't call them. Did I like that they put the whistle away? No. I think if it's a penalty in the first period, it should be a penalty in the third. It should be a penalty in overtime. It should be a penalty in playoffs. It should always be a penalty. But you didn't get those calls. You can't dwell on it as a player and as a team. And it wasn't like they gave Vegas power plays at the end either that they were able to score on. So, I don't want to say it's negligible to the outcome, but it certainly isn't the reason that Vegas was able to get back into it.
This text is in from Tuna. First time he's texted into Edmonton Sports Talk. Tuna, thank you very much. Tell your friends about the tune-in feed, or if you're watching on YouTube or wherever. Hey, boys, I'm annoyed AF right now, even though we won. People tried to start the wave with half of the third period left in a 4-2 game. I yelled about not doing the wave in a close game because we always blow it, and someone turned around and told me it wasn't a close game. I said I wouldn't call it a blowout, and then lo and behold, Vegas tied it up. We nearly blew it. I'm so annoyed at not holding the 2-goal lead. Thanks for the show. Long-time listener, Tuna, who got so frustrated tonight that he was yelling at people, don't do it. And they're saying it's not a close game. And then they come back and tie it up. I mean, I'm sure they weren't doing the wave during the shootout when the Oilers absolutely won it. So, yeah, that's a good one. Ryan from SK says, Nurse is playing between the dots, keeping the game in front of him. He's been really good. Can't see McLeod having much for trade value, but a third-line center with a Stanley Cup would be something to look for if you're Ken Holland or Jeff Jackson or whomever the real general manager of the Edmonton Oilers is. Guys, I got to say, Nurse has looked awfully good since Coffee went behind the bench. And yeah, you can keep these rolling in at 780-218-9999. Guys, hopefully Gagne gets more time than Ernie and McLeod when Hyman gets healthy. I thought Ernie was good tonight. I mean, limited minutes. Let's see here. Ernie played 6-10, but he had 4 hits. He had a couple of shots on goal. That really nice scoring chance in tight. He got stopped on that one. I think Ernie's been what you need from a fourth line winger
Yeah.
for the last 2 games. With that being said, I'm never going to be opposed to having more Sam Gagner in the lineup. He only played 7:23 tonight, had the goal. I'm a little surprised that fourth line didn't play a little bit more. I like the Hamlin, Gagner, Ernie line tonight.
Yeah, I really like Hamlin. I think there was a couple messages earlier in the nasty chat about Hamlin too. I've liked his
can
game.
he stay around for good, right? Like,
yeah, he hustles like he did, and most of those guys do. But Dusty, I mean, it was just a couple minutes ago we were talking about those guys going on the ice and in your bottom 6 going on the ice and getting scored on.
Yeah, that's
and so
true.
It's so.
But you have to find some time for them in the final 10 minutes of a hockey game, right? Like,
right. And I think probably from Knobloch, he's looking at this going, these guys, because I thought they had been pretty good tonight. You're like, your third and fourth lines they'd been pretty good tonight. Now, not a ton of minutes, not a ton of opportunities, and there were quite a few penalties, which always is going to significantly cut down on your time. And for the Oilers' sake, they killed off all the penalties, which you get out there quicker if your penalty kill gives up one in the first 10 seconds. It isn't much like you don't miss as much time on the ice if you're a third or fourth line guy. But I did think that those lines, aside from right at the end of the game, that they were solid. And yeah, I mean, I have time for Sam Gagner too. I mean, he little things you don't always see if you're not actually watching him. Like, he's a dirty little player, and I love it. I'm here for that. And I'm here for Hamlin's work ethic right now too. Ernie, he just kind of, I liked his physicality today. He did have the one chance. Would have been really nice. That was a beautiful play, by the way. A little sequence, like, to get him that chance of passes
to get Ernie in that spot. Yeah.
And they draw a penalty off of it, which was great to see as well. So, from a fourth line standpoint, aside from the end of the game, they did everything you typically ask those lines to do, which is generate a couple scoring chances, not give up a lot in your own end, until they did, I guess, at the end. But yeah, I mean, I'm here for Sam Gagner. Ernie, he's kind of meh, but a pretty good game today. And I, again, really, really like Hamlin's hustle.
Somebody just texted in. We haven't even really talked about him too much, but Connor McDavid is absolutely on fire right now. 3 points in the second period, third straight game with 3 points in a period, 12 points in his last 3 games. Because I did say earlier, I think before we brought you in, I didn't think Draisaitl had his legs going tonight. I think it was a little straight-legged type of night for Leon, but Connor McDavid had more than enough juice for everybody offensively tonight.
Yeah, I mean, he looked dangerous every time he touched the puck, and he was dangerous every time he touched the puck. And you can like, just the difference between Connor McDavid now and Connor McDavid 2.5 weeks ago is massive in terms of the opportunities that he's created. I mean, the points that he's getting now, like, and I think safe to say whatever was bugging him before isn't bugging him now.
I want to get to this one because I thought the same thing the other game. Guys, can we talk about how lame the paintbrush and the plunger are? And that's what the guys are dishing out post game, right? There's the plunger for the plumber, the hard worker of the game, and then the artist gets the paintbrush. And I do have to say, I mean, that's kind of a fail to me. I don't know, man. You're posting pictures after the game. One of your guys is like wearing like a little painter's hat, and the other guy's holding a plunger. I don't know. I feel like there's so many cooler things you can do than that. I don't mind when people be like, it's kind of.
I don't mind it. You're the guy that's going. The blue collar guy that's going to work. That's plumbing toilets with a plunger, not a fun job, a messy job, and you're giving it to him. I don't know. I don't have an issue with it. I think it's good. You're giving it an opportunity to, and the reason doing 2, because most teams just do 1. You do like the belt or hard hat.
You get a belt, you get a hard hat,
something like that.
They had the cool bike vest. I mean, that was a good look. Like,
right, the vest was right. So it's a little bit different than that, but I like it. I mean, you're giving an opportunity to your players that aren't always going to be the ones getting the goals and the points, have the opportunity to get recognized by your teammates and encouraged by your teammates, and the guys that do things creatively that score goals have it too. So I don't know. I know it's not like the coolest thing in the world, but I don't mind it.
Let's see here. Marco says, Dusty, you got to say it now. After last game, you said if the Oilers are beat Vegas, then you'll say the boys are back. Well, say the words. I want to hear it. And Davin says, I've already got the John Wick clip loaded into the system for tomorrow morning on the show. But he's like, people have been wondering and asking if I'm back. Well, yeah, I'm thinking I'm back. And I don't know. We talked about it today, Cass. Like, are they back? I mean, they let a 2-goal lead slip away and won in the skills contest at the end, but they now have scored even like it would be 17 goals in 3 games, not including the shootout winner. Like 17 goals in 3 games for a team that's entire plan to have success is generated through scoring goals. I think you have to be pretty happy with that, right?
Yeah, I think so too. As my wife apparently is in and telling me to close the closet door behind me, so she must be watching up there. I just told her she's using my account. So, congratulations, Mandy. You were watching a post-game show.
Yeah,
so,
yeah, there you go. I mean,
yeah, there we go. I can't even remember what the question was. That just threw me.
Matt, close the closet door. Maddie, you're using my account. That's almost as good as Tommy Gazzola having to apologize to his entire family at the beginning of the hangout today. My God. Yeah, there we go. We'll get that closed. Gager's in there having a laugh as well. Jay DeGray says 4 games ago, they lose this game, which I mean,
yep.
Yeah. I mean, they can't afford to lose games like this, right? Like you can't let these things slip away. Tonight they managed to get it done.
You can't. And I'm not ready to say they're back, but it's another building block, Dusty. It's another building block. It's another step in the right direction. They still have more steps to go. So I'm not back on the, they're making the playoffs bandwagon, but you keep stringing these games together, Tommy, we're going to get there.
I still think that they'll make the playoffs. I mean, there's just the teams they're tracking down aren't that great. I mean, it's just if they take care of business against those teams that they're chasing, like the ones that will be in the fight for the wild card, I think that'll put them in a pretty good spot. So we're gonna get some post game coming up, Cass. We won't keep you much longer. You got to close that closet and get to bed here, man. So, well, yeah, let's see this pocket square. What do you got going on there?
Oh, it's like a nice little pocket square.
Now, are you like try folding that, or do you just kind of? Oh yeah, that looks nice.
Yep, it's a little. I don't know I can't remember what that one's called. I looked up on the interweb how to do
on
it,
how to fold it. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. No, it looks good, and I'm not going clubbing tonight. That's not my jam. I don't do that. Because there's a couple people that threw comments out. I was in the press box, so I.
You're not. Are you wearing jeans?
No.
Okay, I was just curious because if Tommy was here, he would not stand for that.
No, not wearing jeans. No, got some black slacks on.
All right, buddy. Well, thanks for popping by again. We do have we got some posts ready to go, so we're gonna get to that. Cass, thanks a lot, man, and we'll talk to you on Thursday with 2 guys and a goalie.
Absolutely, look forward to it.
There you go. That's Matt Kassian. Close that closet. My goodness, what a mess. Look what I got going on behind me. I got toys. I got NHL guide and record books for when Kenny Holland comes over. I got bloody Flutie Flakes. This is where we kind of started Edmonton Sports, in my basement, right? And now here we are, well, back in the basement again. All right, YouTube Trez says we do have Connor McDavid. 3 more points tonight. Let's get to Connor McDavid's postgame.
We're just about getting the 2 irrelevant of maybe the one that was lost, or how you see it?
One that was lost.
We
got 2, but
yeah, the one they picked up.
Yeah. We'll take wins any way we can get them at this point. Obviously, it would be nice to close it out. Up 2 with 5 minutes to go. We expect to close that out, but we'll take the win any way we can.
If you look at the way your group played tonight, outside of those couple letdowns there, I mean, is that a template, or what did you think of the way you guys were overall in this thing?
I thought it was a lot of good, a lot of really good signs. I liked a lot of our third period. I felt like they were opportunistic to tie the game, and but they're a good team, and that's what they do. So.
You guys talking about confidence a lot lately. Is this kind of one game bleeds into the next and bleeds into the next, and then sort of good things start happening?
Well, it's momentum. Definitely momentum in our room. I think we can feel it. I think we've liked what we've seen over the last 3, and something to build off of.
When your team is killing penalties the way yours is, I'm not saying that you guys don't worry about taking penalties, but how much confidence does it give you and maybe let you not worry about that so much?
Yeah, the PK's been great. Really, really, really solid. Keeping us in in games, and I think it's a credit to those guys that are doing it.
You had a goal like that before where the guy misses the net and it comes all the way around and you're standing there by yourself?
No. I don't know. I'm sure maybe somewhere, but pretty fortunate. I'll take it.
All right, did you get an explanation out from the official when your stick got taken out of your hands there with 3 minutes to go?
No. I try to let the officials do their job. I don't bother them much. These things happen. I think it's a penalty. He doesn't. That's the way it goes.
Whether it was Janmark or Kane or even Gagne, what did you think of the guys kind of filling in for Hyman in various capacities?
Yeah, I thought everybody did a good job. It was kind of a team effort to fill in for Hymes. He obviously touches a lot of aspects of our game. So definitely missed him here tonight. But I thought Gags did a great job stepping in. Kaner, net front on the power play, scores a big goal. A lot of guys stepped up.
A weird OT. There's like a lot of missed passes and kind of scrambly play you don't really see very often in overtime.
Yeah, I thought it was a slower pace overtime. I'd like to have that pass back to Leo. When he's coming in late there. Obviously I think we'd like to have that 2-on-1 back as well. But ultimately we win, and that's all that matters.
There's some talk about changing the rules in 3-on-3, kind of eliminate the over and back. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I definitely thought you saw it tonight. Both teams, I thought, took advantage of that rule not being in place. I think you'd see, I'm sure with every rule change, there's problems that come up with that too. So I think overtime's pretty entertaining as is. Could it be more entertaining with that rule? Who knows? I don't know, but it's not my job to make that call.
Connor, Bouchard shoots it so hard. Is it really hard for the goalie to control anything? I mean, that was shot it right at him. The puck's sitting there for Kane for the rebound. He shoots it so hard.
Yeah, he shoots it so well. Sometimes it's hard for us to get pucks back. He shoots it so hard because it kind of goes and sprays and we can't get it back. But it's such an asset back there. The goalie can't see it. Either it's going in or we're getting a chance off it. So he's a great shooter and a great power play quarterback.
All right, there you go. That is Connor McDavid. The most surprising thing about McDavid's postgame tonight is that Edmonton Sports Talk mic in there. I didn't know Tommy was going to the game postgame. That has to be Tommy. I mean, that's his mic, unless somebody else is there. YouTube Trev, got to be Tommy Gazzola, right? The guy just right from Bozone Live, probably in his camo, straight to the rink.
He was in his camo. I seen that he posted on his story. So. But
on Insta.
He posted on his Insta story. I missed the mic though. Darn it. That's pretty legendary. Good for him. So he's grinding as per usual.
What's he doing there? I didn't even know that he was
in camo. It's so weird.
To the arena in time for the third period.
It's so weird.
And he is in his camo. My goodness.
You can barely see him out there.
What a bad look.
No, it doesn't look the greatest on him.
Yeah, that's pretty funny actually. All right, let's get to. We got a couple good text messages to still get to. I mean, like I said, we're gonna continue here. So hit us up in the nasty chat, or you can text us at 780-218-9999. We do have Evander Kane though, brief, but here's what Evander Kane had to say after the game.
I mean, Connor was saying through most of this game, pretty good play from you guys.
Yeah, I mean, most of the game, I would agree. I think we obviously carried the play. We put ourselves in a good position to win a hockey game in regulation, and that didn't happen, so that part is disappointing.
The goals continue to roll in for you here, Evander. Maybe just talk about what's come on nicely here for you and where your confidence level is at.
Oh, my confidence level is where it usually is. Just trying to play my game and contribute each and every night.
Didn't seem like there were too many passengers. Do you agree with that? Like you guys had a lot of guys.
Yeah, no, I thought we played a really good game for about 53 minutes there, and then we just can't let leads like that slip away and give a team in our division that we're trying to catch a point.
What are the things, a couple weeks ago when we were trying to figure out all the things that had to change for this team to start winning, what do you think the main things are you're doing different now?
Well, you're not seeing big mistakes, right? So we've limited the quote-unquote boo-boos, and we're obviously creating a lot more offense and putting the puck in the net, so that obviously helps helps win hockey games. And when you limit the other team and play a tighter game, you end up in the win column more than you don't.
Is this kind of what you were expecting when those things weren't going well? Like this is kind of the real Edmonton Oilers, for lack of a better term?
Yeah, I mean, we know the type of team we can be, and we've been in the past, and you got to do it each and every year. When the season starts, you can think about last year, but at the end of the day, you got to perform, and we're starting to get better performances from everybody these last couple of games, and we just got to keep that rolling.
You've had some pretty consistent lines here for a few games too. Do you feel like some things are sinking in a little bit and that's been given some time?
Yeah, I mean, it depends what you call consistent, 2 or 3 games, but it's yeah, fair enough. But yeah, I mean, there's kind of some mixing and matching in game for a couple shifts here and there, but I think by now everybody's kind of played with one another, so you figure it out just as the game goes along.
Andrew, is it hard for a shooter, when Bouchard shoots it so hard, it's hard for the goalie to control the rebound, and if the puck's in front of the net, you're going to get to it before the goalie shoots it so hard?
Yeah, I mean, when you shoot the puck hard, usually it comes off the goalie. I think that one kind of hit me in the knee there, actually, not the goalie, but obviously he has a great shot, and it's a tough one to handle if it doesn't go in the net.
How does it feel hitting you in the knee?
Good.
Great question, Shoggy. Mind you, I didn't even understand anything else. I wasn't paying attention. I was just staring at that suit. Evander Kane's suit tonight was on point. Do you think I could pull that suit off, CFL and TSN, sitting there next to Glenn Suter in a bright purple suit like that? I'd give it a go. I'd give it a go, but likely not going to be able to pull that thing off. Nasty Chat continuing to roll along. A couple of text messages I've been saving that we're going to get to here as well. Matthias Echo, man, YouTube Trev is on it tonight. Give YouTube Trev the plunger. I mean, he's all over this stuff. Matthias Ekholm's postgame. Let's get into it.
Or the 54 minutes or the frustration of the last 6?
54 minutes for sure. Sometimes you as a team let into a goal late like that, and you can just tell that was our fault, but they were kind of fluky goals. It was bounces here and there. So the way we're going right now, I'm taking the 54 for sure. Obviously they came back, but we showed some resiliency in the end, and yeah, I mean, huge win for us again, and yeah, we're working towards a game that can be successful every night.
What do you think you guys are doing so well killing penalties?
I think we're in sync, so to speak. I think we're better at the entries. I think that's a big part of it. I think we're pressuring teams more to make plays, and then obviously your best penalty killer on every team has to be your goaltender, and he has been. So that's a big factor as well. So I think there's a bunch of little things that makes the big picture better. So we're looking to keep that going.
Matisse, you blocked almost as many shots in these last 8 games you did in the first 13 on the penalty kill. Has there been an emphasis more, or guys just in the shooting lane, or a little bit more compact?
Good question. I mean, I don't know. I obviously you know when your penalty kill isn't going your way, so to speak, you kind of gotta. I mean, you gotta get it turned, because it's without it you're not going to go very far. So whether it's on guys personally just wanting to get in front of it and make sure we turn this thing around, or whether we are more compact and we're doing different things out there, it's a hard question for me to answer. But I mean, obviously, I'd like to think there's a combo in the end.
So the fact that you guys were able to kind of right the ship after they scored 2 late goals and pull the game out anyway, is that kind of maybe a sign that things are turning in the right direction? This might not be a game that you win 2 or 3 weeks ago.
I mean, yeah, but at the same time, I think the first 54 minutes is what we win or lose tonight. Obviously, it was really nice and big point to get towards the end, but really enjoyed the game and the way we played those first 54. And can we ice that game more often than not? I think we're going to be just fine here. So I'm more focusing on that rather than whether we want to shoot out or not, because those are going to come and go. You know that. It's a matter of having a hot goaltender or guys that just go in as clinically as Connor and Ryan did there. So I don't really look at it that way. I more look at our effort and what we did to them. I thought, as we said earlier, 54 minutes into the game, we were playing a close to perfect, and that's very hard to do in this league, and especially against a good team like Vegas.
Because it seemed like earlier in the year, very few guys had their games going. Does it feel like the other side of it is going now, where almost everyone is having their best games?
Yeah, I think all 4 lines are going. I think obviously we have our big guys that are really contributing right now, and they're playing with pace and they're doing their thing. But defense is going. There's a lot of things to like about our game right now, but obviously don't want to get too ahead of ourselves. We know that 3 games is not a lot in the hole that we've dug ourselves. So we got to keep this thing going, and we got to stay humble, knowing that we got another game here coming up soon. So with that said, I like our game, but at the same time, there's a realization too, knowing that we have some work to do, and we still do.
What did you expect with Paul Coffey going behind the bench, and what's your experience been so far? What's his presence like back there?
I did not know what to expect, obviously, and everyone knows his resume and what he did in the league. And what I really enjoy about him is that he wants us to make plays. He wants us up in the rush. He wants us to close gaps. He wants us to be serving our forwards good passes, good outlets, and not just flip it out when we're tired or whatever. Even though we're tired, he still wants us to make plays, and I really think that's the way to go. And sometimes that's something that gets lost because usually, that's natural in this world. You look at the bad things you do out there. What can you correct? Always, it's not every time you come in and you pump tires. But he seems to be a guy that more or less looks at the pumping tires situation, where he likes to encourage more than maybe look at the bad side. So I think that's been a part where I've really enjoyed having him as a coach.
Even through the losses you've had?
Absolutely. Yeah, he's been very positive. He's been very direct. And I think, in my opinion at least, it's been more positive than it has been negative. And regardless if we have won or lost, he's always been there trying to make us make plays, and I think that's a great thing.
He's a big guy, and move your feet, Paul. Does he tell the defensemen a lot?
Yeah, I think every coach wants us to move our feet, and usually when we do, good things happen. But I think what separates him is just that he wants, he knows we have forwards that can be, best in the world when they're at their game, and that's up to us to serve them situations and rushes and passes where they can be creative and let their skill take over. If we just flip it up so they can have to go on the forecheck every time, it's going to be less dangerous for us. So I think that's something that he has really been harping on.
There you go. That is Mattias Ekholm. How good of interview is he? Is he the best interview on the team? He's got to be right up there. I thought he was outstanding tonight. He's been really good lately as well. It just seems like his communication back on the blue line has really been elevated as of late. He had an assist tonight, played over 21, almost 22 minutes. It was a heavy night for the top 4. Bouchard played 25 and a half minutes. Ceci played over 23 minutes. Nurse played just under 23 minutes. And Ekholm, who may be the steadiest of the bunch. Mind you, if you have Ekholm and Nurse playing the way that they played the last few games, that's going to go a long way in getting back into the thick of it here. Ekholm played almost 22 minutes tonight. We're going to get to your Damon Bunting player of the game. YouTube Trev will have that in a second, but we do have the head coach as well. Chris Knobloch has his team having won 3 games in a row. Big game against the Jets coming up. This just sets the tone nicely. The Oilers have won 3 in a row going into Winnipeg. The Jets have lost their last 2 games. So we'll have lots of time to set that up over the next 48 hours at Edmonton Sports Talk. But let's hear what the Lord of the Erie had to say after the game. Coach Knobloch.
Control and maybe a little bit of an unlucky play, Ernie and Desharnais. They both were in the right position. Puck kind of ricocheted off their stick and kind of seemed to change it. How would you view the game start to finish in your eyes?
I thought we played pretty well. The last 5 minutes, it was a little chaotic, and we were making, I don't want to say mistakes, but we gave us some opportunities. And the one that kind of changed it, I thought we were in pretty good control, 4-2, and I know Adam and I think it was Vinny made the play, they made the slot, and they both got their stick on it, and pops out to that guy perfectly. I think we could have played it much better, but unfortunately they capitalized on that. The other one, they just sling to the net, get a stick on it, tie it up. But overall, I think the first 15 minutes of the third period, it was a pretty good period by us. We had a lot of opportunities to kind of put it away. Like certainly on the power play, some 5-on-5 chances, but we didn't, and fortunately, it just took us an extra 5 minutes in a shootout.
Hyman a late scratch due to illness. Janmark goes in, scores. Gagne goes in on the fourth line, scores. Kane goes on the first unit power play for Hyman, scores. So you had to be happy with kind of how guys fill in with 18 out.
Yeah, no, we absolutely needed guys stepping up, and when somebody's not able to play, whether it's an injury or just not finding his game, we need other guys stepping into those situations. Nice to see Sam, who hadn't been played in a couple games. He benefited. He was the guy that came in the lineup in that, and we were just talking about in practice. He scores a lot in practice because he's always shooting to score, and immediately he shoots that, and it's a bad angle, but he knew what he was doing. It was a good play. Yanni, I thought he played a really good game, especially on the penalty kill. Made a lot of big plays, but need guys going to the net, and he absolutely benefited by going to the net. Goes off his chest and in. But yeah, I was very happy with those guys.
When you started here, you talked about players maybe squeezing the sticks or not feeling the confidence the right way. Have you noticed a shift in the time that you've been here and what you're seeing, guys, just the confidence that they seem to be displaying?
Well, absolutely. You look at McDavid, who's got 12 points in his last 3 games. I think there's a lot less frustration with him than there was previously 2 weeks ago. But other guys too are just, when you win games and you get some offense, everyone just feels better about themselves and you're able to play hockey.
When your team is killing penalties as well as it is right now, I mean, the obvious is you're not letting in goals, but I mean, how much does that help just the overall feeling of the game?
I think the good teams always have confidence when you want to play freely and not always worry about, am I going to take a penalty? And I just find the best teams typically have good penalty kills. They can kill and they defend really well 5-on-5. And right now, the last 3 games, I thought we've done a pretty good job of that, and we have to continue doing that.
Chris, when a little bit of adversity hits, like the lead getting chipped away at and they tie it up, have you noticed a difference in how your group is responding on the bench, maybe a little bit, as opposed to a couple of weeks ago where things weren't going in your favor?
Absolutely, I have. There's guys were positive on the bench. It was, don't worry about it. We're still going to get the 2 points. Let's continue to play hockey. So I don't think I would have heard that earlier when I first came here. But when you get a couple wins and you start playing good hockey, and sometimes things just don't go your way. And like I said, in the third period, I thought we should have been able to pull away. Didn't happen. They just still believed in it, which was nice.
Chris, I just wonder, what point did you realize that Hyman wouldn't be able to play tonight, and what went into the decision to put Janmark in his spot up top?
Well, this morning we knew he was sick. Was told that he felt like he was going to play through, and I've heard, obviously I don't know Zach very well, but from what I've heard, he plays through a lot. Whether he's sick or injured or whatever, he's perseveres and guts it out. So there was a lot of optimism that he was going to play. And then that was in the morning, and then afternoon, and then he came to the rink at 5 o'clock and was not in good condition. We sent him home, and so hopefully he's rested up and ready for Winnipeg.
Sorry, and Janmark, like what went into that decision to put him up top there?
Right from the start, as soon as we knew that he was sick, we told him in the morning that if Hyman can't play, then he'd be moving up there. And obviously I haven't seen him in that situation. From what I've heard is he's a guy that can play with skill. He's, obviously had a big role when he was with Dallas, playing on the top role. I believe he scored 19 goals that season. But he can transport the puck. He doesn't kill plays. He can get it to a centerman or whoever it is. He's just not a chip and chase. He's really good, reliable defensively. Obviously, how much of a factor he has been on the penalty kill. And also playing with those guys, you need somebody going to the net. So those 3 factors is a good fit for that line.
Chris, Hyman's role is in front of the net, but you have a pretty good backup in Vander Kane. Most teams don't have that. So do you really see much drop off when on the power play when Zach does not play? With Kane there.
Two excellent options, absolutely two excellent options, and it all mostly comes down to looks on your power play. If you want a lefty or a righty, and what are the low plays, and I think that's probably the biggest difference. I think they're both excellent options, and they kind of do things a little bit differently, but a lot of teams don't have that option on their first unit to have either one of those guys. We fortunately have two options.
And what have you noticed with Paul Coffey on the bench? Is he talkative? Does he talk to the defenseman all the time? Or does he sit back and watch?
I'm so focused on my forwards, I'm not sure what's going on. I think there is a lot of talking. I think the players like the communication that he's providing, whether that's in the meetings in the morning, showing them stuff, or just, I know he spends a lot in the dressing room sitting beside a player just talking to him about his game or what's going on in his life. I don't know, I think the defense feel comfortable with him and they want to play hard for him.
There you go. That is Chris Knobloch, late 1990s television dad. He got that done. By the way, if Zach Hyman's looking for a cure to get a little bit better, my mom would suggest gargling salt water. That could end up helping him get back right way. Threw a question out into the nasty chat there. It came in via a text message. We're going to take a look at the Western Conference standings right now because they're creeping. We'll get to that. We do have the Damon Bunting Remax Elite Player of the Game. YouTube Travel will have that for you. But we have this question that came in and said, Dusty, nice to see you on the post-game show. Missed the first part of the show, but is it time to move Hamblin up on Thursday and dial McLeod back a little? How has a third-line center almost gone 40 games with no goals and continue to miss assignments? And you know what? It's an interesting one because, I mean, Hamblin has 2 goals. He's playing like half the time that McLeod is playing. And I guess I'm just curious as to, like, can Hamblin bring the minimum that McLeod brings with maybe a little bit more hunger? I mean, I don't think there's more chance that if there was not much doubt that if there was a brick wall over here and you had to skate through it to score a goal, I think it's likely that Hamblin busts through that brick wall quicker and more often. Sorry, guys. Quicker and more often than McLeod. This is what happens when you broadcast for like 7 hours a day. You get a little tickle in your throat. I don't think it'll happen, but I think Hamblin's done enough to at least have that conversation, and McLeod has done little enough to have that conversation. YouTube Trev, let's get to our Damon Bunting Player of the Game. Where are you going, buddy?
Right on. Okay, so there's a lot of people I can pick. I think you guys already talked about Matthias Janmark and just how involved he was on the penalty kill. He looked great. He got off the schneid and he scored a goal, and I called it, so that's pretty cool. I always love that. But 2 games in a row now, well, I wouldn't say. It's probably been more than that, but in the last 2 for sure have been his best games of the season. Darnell Nurse has just been an absolute workhorse out there. You guys kind of alluded to it earlier. He's looked lights out, man. And he was also on the PK. He was getting his sticks in lane. He was being physical. The play, he just, there's so many opportunities that the Vegas Golden Knights tried, and he just stopped it, and down the ice it went. So it was super encouraging. Although he didn't get on the score sheet tonight, he was a +1, 4 shots on net, and on the rush he drew a penalty, which eventually led to Evander Kane scoring a power play goal. So Darnell Nurse, man, I don't know if he'll ever live up to that $9 million contract, but if he plays like this, I'm not going to be complaining. And, you know, he's not cheating. He's not cheating. He's staying back. And when he does know he can jump on the rush, is you know, we're starting to see it. And he's not risking it. It's not 50-50 chances he's taking. Like the one rush that he did, he ended up calling or getting hooked. And, you know, it drew a penalty, which led to Evander Kane scoring.
Yep,
so
that's true.
It was nice to see. Darnell Nurse has been. It's just a sight. It's a sight for sore eyes. It's so good to see. So Darnell Nurse absolutely is your Damon Bunting Player of the Game. Good job, Darnell.
You know what? Let's wrap up tonight's post-game show with this. Look at the wild card race in the Western Conference right now. The St. Louis Blues holding down the first wild card spot with 23 points. And there's a gap here. The Blues are 3 points back of the Jets. The Coyotes are 7 points back of the Kings. The Flames are 8 points back of the Kings for third in the Pacific. Anyway, the wild card right now looks like this. St. Louis with 23 points, 11-9-1, first wild card. The Nashville Predators with 22 points. They've been red hot, hottest team in the league. They have won 6 in a row. They are 11-10. So they were 5-10, but they've rattled off 6 since. UC Saros started to lock it down a little bit. And they won in overtime tonight with another one of those screenplays at the blue line, which I thought looked kind of ridiculous. The Arizona Coyotes with 22 points as well. They sit just outside of the playoffs. The Calgary Flames and Seattle Kraken both have 21 points. The Ducks still have 18 points, but they have lost 7 in a row. They're going to fade down into oblivion, and we're not going to have to worry about them. And then you've got the Edmonton Oilers, who have won 3 in a row, have 17 points, and as of right now are 5 points out of a playoff spot. So there's a long way to go in this season. They're obviously not going to win out the rest of the way. They've still got 7 tough games left here on this trip to Winnipeg and 6 home games leading in till 6 road games between, the second half of December, basically. But they are 5 points out of a playoff spot, and they're just kind of starting to get going. So wild card spots certainly within grasps. The top 3 spots in the division, likely a lot to overcome at this point, but they've won 3 in a row. Hasn't been absolutely perfect along the way, but it's been pretty darn good along the way. 4 goals tonight, and then the shootout winner. 17 goals in regulation in their last 3 games. Connor McDavid is on an absolute tear, and things continue to trend in the right direction. They get a Winnipeg team that'll be desperate for a dub after dropping a couple in a row on the road in Winnipeg. Matthew Iwanek will have your pregame show. I will have the postgame on that one, and then Tommy Gazzola will be done covering himself in Deer Piss, and he will be back with the pre and post games the rest of the way. Thank you very much for joining us tonight, whether you're watching on TuneIn, if you're watching on YouTube, and if you're not yet subscribed to the Edmonton Sports Talk YouTube channel, we have now surpassed 6,000 subs. Up next, 7,000. Let's go get it. The Nielson show starts in about 6 hours and 43 minutes. And I've still got about 40 minutes of prep to do for that bad boy. So I'm going to go do that, catch a couple hours of sleep, and we will talk to you in the morning. Tell your friends about Edmonton Sports Talk. For YouTube, Trev and Matt Kassian, I am Dustin Nielson. Thank you very much for supporting Edmonton Sports Talk. Thank you very much for joining us tonight, and thank you very much for being here all along the way. Oilers have won 3 in a row as they get by the Golden Knights 5-4. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Get to bed, get some rest, and join us tomorrow morning right here at EdmontonSportsTalk.com.